Welcome back to episode 13, lucky number 13 of the Jungle Podcast. I'm your host, John. You know the other host, Jeff. Jeff, welcome back for another Friday show, second show in 3 days. How's the day going?
What's up, buddy? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Lucky number 13 here. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, got the number 13.
If it's your first time listening, you can find us as the Jungle Podcast on any listening platform. You can find us on YouTube as the Jungle Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at the Jungle Pod. All the different top tens and things that we do here, we go post. So we'd appreciate some fan engagement and let us know what you guys think. Another idea that was actually floated my way today is if we start receiving basically like listener requests. So if you have something you want us to discuss, I had one person ask if we did it today. I was like, we don't, just because no one asks us to discuss anything. But if you want us to, we would love
it if you did. We would love it if you did. Absolutely. Yeah,
it's not,
that's a good idea.
We don't want to. We're open minds are here, and we're looking for ideas. So
you got something you want us to talk about?
Yeah, let us know. That's all.
Let us know. Let us know. Good deal, man. Good deal. Well, here let's hop right in, man. What about some news and notes here from you?
So one thing that I saw, and it's not really news, but it just kind of caught my eye, at least on Twitter. Did you notice Joe Burrow is going by Joey Burrow?
No, I didn't. I did not notice that.
He changed his name to Joey Burrow. And it made immediately I've known about Joe Burrow
on Twitter.
Since he was in high school.
Yeah.
Like he was Mr. Ohio. I've known who Joe Burrow is. I've never heard Joey Burrow in my life. He changed it. I don't know if he's trolling or if he just wants to be called Joey. It made me think of the whole Mitch Trubisky became Mitchell because he thought it was gonna help him.
Yeah.
How's that working for you, Mitch?
I think it's gonna work.
The name changes at this point in your life. If he wants to be Joey though, who am I to say he's wrong?
Yeah, I think it's going to work better for him than it's going to be for Mitchell Trubisky. Hey, whatever. That's fine if he wants to change it. That'll be interesting. I haven't heard that, so I wonder if he's actually having people call him Joey. Is he got to do interviews and it's going to be Joey Burrow? I doubt that. There's no way.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would care.
He's probably just wants to mess around or something.
I kind of have that feeling, but I mean,
yeah.
You'd think he would say something about it, or someone would say something about it. Like the fact that I'm the first person you've heard that from. Maybe he's doing it genuinely. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, sticking with the NFL, now that Joe Burrow is a Cincinnati Bengal and in the NFL.
Joey Burrow.
Joey Burrow. Yeah, sorry, I already messed it up. Look at that.
Right.
Did you see that they were thinking about changing the onside kick rule? But it was just voted down and kind of tabled for right now. Did you see that?
No. Why would they get rid of onside kicks?
So it's not that they're going to get rid of onside kicks. They were going to give a team, if you scored, instead of kicking an onside kick, the option to do a 4th and 15 untimed down.
Hold on. So right now, if you want to go onside, you can go onside. What's the alternative? What's the alternative? I didn't understand.
You get your offense comes back on the field. And it's 4th and 15. It's an untimed down, and you get to go for it. 4th and 15.
So what are the coaches are going to do? They're going to look at historically what's the conversion ratio for 4th and 15. What's the conversion ratio for an onside kick?
Absolutely.
Whichever one's higher, that's what you're going to see. So if it's not close,
they just tabled it.
Okay.
So they're not doing it. Yeah. So they're not doing it yet. But you're right. I mean, that's a really good point. That 100%. All these teams run by analytics nowadays. So yeah. I'm sure they've already probably looked into it. I just thought it was really interesting. I think that'd be really cool, pretty exciting. The other team would just get the ball back wherever that play ended if they didn't get the 15 yards. But for right now, it's tabled. I hope they think about it again.
You'd have to go for it. You'd have to take the 4th and 15 because it's got to be a higher conversion ratio than an onside kick.
It has to be. Watching onside kicks, I can't even remember the last one.
That's got to be under 10% at least.
It has to be. Do you remember the last?
I'm just guessing, but.
What was the last one that was completed? Exactly.
I think it happens in college more, but yeah.
Probably happens in high school more too. But I mean, it's just whenever a team onside kicks it, you never really get excited about them going for an onside kick.
Well, you don't know
But
what's going to happen. Usually you're just like, holy shit, it was an onside kick. You know, you're caught off guard.
But if a team's down by 2 touchdowns and they score a quick touchdown and there's a minute left and they have to onside kick it, you're never, as a fan, if that's your team, you're kind of like, all right, well, they're going to onside kick it. I mean, the game's over. But if they got to come back on the field and run a play for 4th and 15, think about how exciting that would be.
It would be super exciting.
Yeah.
I do love when my favorite type of onside kick, not that you asked me this, but just came to me, is
I'd love to know, though.
When they're already up, when you're up like 10 and then they kick the onside, like maybe like right before the halftime or something.
Or right after
right
halftime.
After, everyone's going through motions.
Yep.
And then, you get the ball back and you're immediately in position to basically just kind of stomp them out. So,
I definitely I like it when teams are kind of like, screw it. It's kind of the same deal as like, let's go for 2 every time. Because I'm sure there's analytics out there that I bet you that a lot of teams have higher win percentages if they always go for 2. Like there's high school programs you hear about that they go for 2 no matter what. They never kick field goals. They never punt.
That's just stupid. Like
I think it's awesome.
You can do whatever you want. It's in the rules, so you can do it.
You can do it. Actually, and you know what?
Best coaches in the game don't do it, but you can.
Since you just brought up rules, I was thinking about sharing this, but I guess, do you remember when Bill Belichick came up with that loophole to kind of end the clock? And he used it. Let's see. Let me find this real quick. And they decided that they can't do it anymore. All right. So Bill Belichick found a loophole in the rules where they get to just kind of run the clock down if they're winning and they don't want the other team to get the ball back. And you do like a dead ball penalty.
You don't have to actually wait.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Is that approved?
No, they canceled it. They made it no longer. You can't do it anymore because everyone got pissed off at Belichick and he laughed about it after the game. But Belichick, good on you for finding that out. I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean he's light years ahead.
He's light years ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What you have any other stories?
Yeah. So one that I actually saw on the ticker today, Melvin Gordon was, I don't know if he was on Twitter. No, I think it was an actual interview. And they were like, well, what's it going to be like playing for the Chargers with no fans? And I quote, bro, we didn't have fans anyways. We didn't have many Chargers fans at the game. I'm just being honest. We didn't have many Chargers fans at the game. Much loyalty, love, but we didn't have many. So I'm not missing anything.
Don't you remember on the night of the draft when Goodell had that screen behind him with fans from different teams? The Chargers had 2 empty sections on it, like that just showed the logo. They couldn't even find enough fans to fill out the screen.
They're a mess. They should have never left. If there's a team that should leave Southern California, I feel like it should be them, not I think one's plenty for that market because they don't care.
Not the Rams.
They don't care.
I mean,
just in San Diego. They certainly don't care in Los Angeles. That's just kind of a mess. I have a feeling I'd be willing to bet they're not going to be there in 10 years or maybe 20 years. It takes a little while to kind of go through that.
Where would you like them to go see? What city would you love to see have an NFL team? Yeah.
Ooh.
That might be a question for another day, but that's.
I've done this. No, I've done this. We can do this on another time, but I've actually made lists all right, so if MLB is expanding 8 teams, who are the 8? And I've created fictional franchises with nicknames and everything. So I think for this one, I would have to go with I'd probably go Mexico City Aztecs. That would be my
Mexico City. So you want to send a team south of the border?
You want the biggest city in the Western Hemisphere?
I love it. I think it'd be awesome.
I mean, but I want to go play there?
Awesome.
Absolutely not. I would not want to go play there, but
they'd be treated like kings.
You put me on the spot. I'm not prepared to answer that. I know. But I think Mexico City would be a good one. I don't think anything's wrong with San Diego. I think I don't know. There's some interesting alternatives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to think about it.
I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting. No worries. No. But so in news, you saw probably Flacco's going to the Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a match made in heaven.
I just
boring means
go there,
boring.
back up Donald, or Darnold. Sorry, geez. And then I did see that SpaceX, just because we talked about this last time, they are relaunching this Saturday. I'm not sure if we talked about that when they canceled their launch into space. And so we're going to be sending 2 humans into space for the first time in quite some time, which I think is pretty cool. It's going to be Saturday, tomorrow.
Yeah, you usually do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, man. Anything else?
The last one that I had was it looks, again, it's all hearsay, like no one knows. It looks like NBA owners are gearing up, for something similar to the NHL, where they just go right into the playoffs.
Yep.
You see that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I did.
We talked about it
I think
last week or the week before. I think it was a week ago today. We talked about that. So just, made me think of it.
I think it's probably going to happen. I mean, I'd like to see him give the teams that were right on the bubble the chance to play to get the playoffs. Obviously, I saw one thing where the NBA, like I guess maybe some insider information, whatever. I think it was Windhorse was sharing it on First Take, that the NBA executives are trying, or the NBA is like trying to find out a way to make sure that Zion is involved if they bring it back, because he was so excited to watch. So that's interesting, because the Pelicans aren't in the playoffs right now.
I'm still over.
That's
kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't have a problem with him, but just like that's just a ridiculous thing to like. What are you gonna do? Like,
it is ridiculous.
Like, stand on the sideline, like handing out cups.
No, man. Like the Pelicans get the chance to have a play-in game. Like they're not
he's
just
a fun player, so he automatically springs. Hey, man, not fair at all.
I'm just telling you. That's what I heard. They're thinking about getting.
All right, if he does that, that destroys the integrity of a league. You can't make it a popularity contest. You want to make it a popularity contest, just get rid of everyone outside of LA, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, New York, Boston. Like, there's only like really like 8 markets that are really healthy, maybe. Like, yeah. Let's be honest. Like, I don't know. I guess the Pacers, you could make there's a little bit more than you think, but there's the Grizzlies. Like, there's bonfires out there.
I am with you, but I thought it was interesting. And hey, look,
get out of town.
Look, he's excited to watch. We'll see if that happens. We'll see.
You want to do that? Like, I don't know. If you really want to help, that kind of frustrates me. Like, you can't do that. You can't.
I can tell.
All right, move on.
All right, moving on. You want to go sexy, not sexy?
Let's do some sexy, not sexy.
Let's do it. Let's bring it back. Let's see what's sexy. Give me yours. What's your sexy of the week?
All right. So, all about the records being broken. So, the deepest ever spotting of an octopus was recently in the Java Trench. This is in the Sea of Java. They found a Dumbo octopus 23,000 meters below sea level.
Did you say meters?
Yeah, meters below.
Wow.
So, yeah, wow. It's wild. Saw the story.
That is wild.
It's sexy, so I thought I'd include it.
That is sexy. I think octopuses are pretty cool animals, extremely intelligent. No idea that they were able to live down that far. I was trying to math in my head, which for some reason, I don't know how I was going to figure out how exactly I was, how far that was down. But that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. My sexy is actually, so Forbes came out with the richest athlete last year list. Did you see that? I
did. Yeah.
So, and obviously, the winner of it is going to be sexy. Roger Federer, richest athlete, whoever. I mean, if you're the richest athlete on the Forbes list, that's a sexy thing to say. That I'm the richest athlete on Forbes.
If you want a sexy interview to watch, I was looking on YouTube the other day. Seriously.
Yeah.
And because I've been watching so much Michael Jordan stuff, just over the past month, all of his stuff is getting recommended to me. And one was a video right before the U.S. Open in June 2014. Interview with him and Roger Federer. Federer's interviewing Michael Jordan because at that time the three, I'm not a big sneakerhead, but the threes had just come out for Michael Jordan, and I guess the RF brand, the Roger Federer brand, wanted to embrace some of the designs and use some of the design team. I think they might even gotten the Jordan stamp of approval on it, and that's why they were doing the interview. But it's only 10 minutes long. It's pretty cool little watch to see 2 all-time greats. Federer's on our most dominant athlete list that we just released.
For sure.
So interesting listing. I do want to clear
Yeah.
up. It was 23,000 feet below sea level. I had to stick to my guns
Okay.
and put me on the spot. I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, 23,000 feet.
Okay. All right. Yeah. 20. That makes a lot more sense. Still, that's down there. So
Yeah.
I got you. But yeah, I just thought Forbes richest athlete list, whenever that comes out, that's a sexy thing to check out. I think that when it comes out, it's pretty cool. It usually changes every year. So Roger Federer took the cup this year. Good for him.
Love that.
Yeah.
What
about your not sexy? All right, my not sexy in Germany. So we all know how everyone's doing all this social distancing, and different restaurants are doing their different things to kind of keep people away from each other, right? In Germany, Burger King launched their social distancing Whopper. And it's packed Whopper.
Okay.
The Whopper burger, which is packed with 3 times the usual amount of onions. So you're supposed to eat it because it has so many onions on it. Other people are going to want to stay away from it. That's pretty not sexy.
I'm a big fan of onions, so I might like that. If they're caramelized, if they're caramelized, they're literally sweet.
Yeah, but I don't think they are. But they're not caramelized on a Whopper. It's like just like the fresh white put onion.
Specify if they're caramelized or not caramelized? You got to dig
picture
the stories.
The picture definitely shows an uncaramelized onion, white onion that was freshly cut.
And
so I did the digging. On
23,000 meters. Damn it.
And 23,000 meters. I'd say that's not sexy. I like onions too, but 3 times the amount on a normal burger, that's not for me. So I thought that was not sexy.
I like that. I kind of a sad tale, but a cautionary one as well for the youngsters out there. Esteban Loaiza. He's a major league pitcher. Played many years in MLB. He just pled guilty for cocaine distribution. The guy made $44 million over the course of his career. Apparently he spent all of it, like nothing left, and he's smuggling cocaine. They found $500,000 in cocaine in like his trap house in his name that was like rented by him in San Diego.
Wow.
So yeah, he's from he's from what's the town right across the border from San Diego? Tijuana. He's from Tijuana. Okay. So I'm assuming like he probably had some, figures maybe he, knew growing up and maybe didn't remove himself from them, but pretty sad. Like
that is sad. And that's
$44 million is a lot to blow. Like it's easy to be like, like you screwed up your life. And people love to see like successful people fail just because there's a lot of haters out there, right? But
there are.
I don't know. It's kind of sad. I was like just seeing him in a jail get up and just knowing like, dude, you're locked up probably for like 20 years. I don't care how good
quite some time
your lawyers are. If you have $500,000 in cocaine in your house, you're not going to be walking the streets anytime soon. So
no, you're not.
Not sexy
well,
at all.
You are damn right about that. That is a not sexy story. So
yeah.
There you go. Well, good. Well, I know we wanted to hop in kind of into a list early, right, for everybody on this one right after our sexy not sexy, because you and I were talking earlier today. DeAndre Hopkins was on. He did some video interview, and he said that he thinks he's the best wide receiver in the NFL, which I think is a very fair kind of point by him. Obviously, I think a lot of people would agree with that. But obviously, there are people that don't. So we decided that we would go through our top 10 wide receivers as if we were starting a season today to win the championship next year.
Yeah, and the guy, so Jeff will send me like little Instagram shots. There's different accounts and things that will go out there and like rank players, and that's pretty much all they do. But like, and I get it. Like, if you want to get attention, like you have to have, the hot take or whatever. This guy's a freaking idiot, though. Like, some of the names, it just pisses me off. It's like, don't come out and tell me you're not going to – if you have this guy in your name or on your list, then that's your own fault, dude. Like, don't tell me that – Julian Edelman is a bona fide number 1 wide receiver? If he's on the Bengals, he's not on the Bengals. Like, he probably wouldn't have a roster spot.
Oh, that's ridiculous. He would play on the Bengals.
Not on my team.
He's a Super Bowl MVP. Now, also, before I get into this and destroy the argument that you just said, let's get this straight here. The guy that you're talking about who puts this on, or this website, it's just a list on Instagram, and they kind of tiered the wide receivers. This isn't what the person who was interviewing DeAndre Hopkins. We just saw kind of the DeAndre Hopkins story. We thought it'd be interesting to see who was out there talking about, the top wide receivers. And this tiered list had Julian Edelman as a bona fide number one wide receiver, which I completely agree with you. But you're crazy to think that he wouldn't be the number two or number three wide receiver on the bench.
Slower John Ross with like bad knees,
with great hands, Super Bowl champion,
can't get open.
Crazy stats. Can't get open. He's been open his whole career.
He gets thrown open. He was good. He's just 34. Like,
you're right, but we're talking one season. But if we're talking one season, we're talking one season.
I wouldn't. I mean, I'd take him over John Ross. I wouldn't take him over AJ. I wouldn't take him over T. I wouldn't take him over Boyd.
Yeah. I get you. You know what? I didn't think about T. Higgins. I like that. And don't get
our fourth, and that's a maybe. I'd still probably take.
He's not on my list. He's not on my list.
Here's like the best compliment I could give him. I would take him for like his like what he brings to the locker room. It'd be nice to have a guy who's won something and is a pure. Just another, old head for some of the young guys. That's literally like physically, is he better than John Ross? Probably not.
No, probably not. But look, I love how this turned into a Julian Edelman debate. This is going to be, it's going to be a really interesting season for him with Stidham back at quarterback and Tom Brady's not there. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll really see who the real Julian Edelman is when he doesn't have the goat thrown to him.
Yeah, it ain't going to be pretty. He ain't going to be a bona fide number one.
No, I agree with you. Anyone else that they have listed as bona fide one? I thought that A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown a bona fide number one wide receiver?
No.
I don't think so.
No. That list sucked. The other ones sucked. Like once and the other thing that pissed me off, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because the people that are listening can't see it. But like he had like best of the best, elite, and star. Like, freaking make up your mind. Are they good or not, man? Like,
oh yeah, that's true. Tier them. Oh, just put them at numbers. Just tier. You know what? I tell you what. So we're about to do this ranking. You can kind of tier it off, kind of as you will. We're going to top 10 down to 1. If we're starting a team today to win next year's championship, I don't give a shit what happens in 2022. We're looking for next year's championship, right? Super Bowl in 2021.
Yes.
Starting right now. Who are our top 10 wide receivers? Let's go 10 down. Give me your 10, John.
So this is the only one that like is kind of you'll see it. Antonio Brown. He's not in the league right now. I get it.
No.
I get it. But that's not for lack of trying. Like someone might pick him up, and when
someone's going to pick him up.
Exactly. And when he is on a team in 5 months or maybe it's a year, I don't know. He is at least the 10th best wide receiver in the game. He missed 1 year. People are like, what have you done for me lately? All he did for the previous 10 years was go off for like 1,500 yards a year. Like he was the number one pick in fantasy drafts. Even last year, before like the whole world imploded and, everything caved in on him, he was still regarded as one of the best. And that just like poof, like everyone forgets everything he's done. Please explain to me why he's not one of the best top 10. If you had to start a team right now, the character's there. Okay. What if you had him with Tom Brady? What if you had him in the right situation?
Wait a minute. You did have him with Tom Brady. You did have him with Tom Brady. He scored one touchdown down in Miami.
He was going through an emotional breakdown. He was not like.
But you can't say the argument. What if you had him with Tom Brady?
For a
year.
They
did have him with Tom Brady. I get that.
For a week. You never saw it.
I know. He scored a touchdown down Miami. I know we didn't see it, but he didn't make it down.
You're too smart.
I know he had a ton of stuff going on.
You're too smart for that.
All right, look, I appreciate that. And I agree with you. Obviously, if he's reinstated in the league, if he's on a team, no one in their right mind is going to say Antonio Brown isn't a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. He's unbelievable talent, unbelievable stats over the past several years that he's been in the NFL. Arguably the best wide receiver, probably collective seasons, maybe of all time. I mean, I don't think anyone playing today is going to pass how good Jerry Rice was, in my opinion, when you go back and look at all of his stats and what he did in the game. But there are some really, really talented wide receivers. We're going to go through them all. But Antonio Brown for number 10, he's not in the league right now. So it was hard. I didn't even think about it.
That's my point. So quick to forget. Right. Did so much.
He did. My number 10 was Adam Thielen. So he's going to be the pure number one now in Minnesota. Now that Stephon Diggs is gone, I thought even when Stephon Diggs was there, even though how good Stephon Diggs is, I still thought Adam Thielen was probably the number one and better wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, and I know, look, I'll go ahead and talk fantasy a little bit, but fantasy is purely based on stats. Every single week, it seemed like he had more points than anybody. So he was obviously extremely productive. I think he's a great talent, great story also on how he's gotten to where he is. My number 10, Adam Thielen.
I have him as my number 9.
Okay.
I remember, I think it was 2 years ago is when he kind of like exploded on the scene, right? And I had Stephon Diggs in fantasy, and you had Adam Thielen, and I didn't know who the hell he was. And I knew Stephon because I've watched Stephon since like 2014 at Maryland. Like I've known about him forever. So I was a big Diggs fan, and all these balls are going to this white guy, and I'm like, who the hell is this? He's the 9th best receiver in the league right now. That's who he is. He's actually better than Diggs. All he does is catch balls. He gets open. He does everything like really, really well. I wouldn't say he's not in my elite tier. He's a bona fide number 1. That's what he is.
He's a bona fide number 1, and if like with that dumb list that we were talking about, if we move it up, I think he was a star or elite. His route running's unbelievable. He always gets touted for that. So, all right, well, good. I like him.
I just love how the adjectives are all like so complimentary.
The same. Yeah.
Super special. You're 5-star. You're 2 thumbs up. Like they're all like, shut the fuck up.
Like, shut up. And,
are you good or
not?
Make a mind.
Make your mind, and go ahead and call someone out for not being that good. Who's not a number 1.
Thank you.
Okay, I agree with you. So my number 9, is Odell Beckham.
Odell.
Look. Talent-wise, I get it. I really, really do. And he had a few really, really great years coming out. Obviously, some of the best years coming out. I think he's like as a rookie in his first 3 years, maybe the best 3 years ever as a wide receiver or something. I just can't get over some of all the crap that always seems to go with him. And now what's he done?
I don't.
Could he be number?
I have him a lot higher.
I'm sure you do. He could be number 1 on this list when it comes to talent. I think he's a winner, like as a wide receiver, but just for me, like it's hard to say. I mean, for the Browns, Jarvis Landry is someone I think I'd want on my team more than Odell Beckham.
Yeah, so I kind of wrestle with it. I'm gonna wait because I have him a lot higher than 8th.
Yeah, 9. He's my 9.
9. Okay, yeah, I have a lot higher than 9. I'm gonna wait, and I'll give you some reasoning why I think he's better than what you think.
Look, ability-wise and all that, I think he is. For some reason, he's become kind of an afterthought, I think, when it comes to talking about wide receivers for the past couple of years. And that could just be because, but like production-wise and stuff, what we talking about? And you're right. What have you done for me lately?
Let's talk about it right now. So the thing about Odell is, and I'm not like the biggest Odell fan. I actually have him on my list at 4th because what you're talking about, if you put him in the right situation. Like, there was obviously a lot of difference between what he did with Eli and what he did with Baker Mayfield. Like, with Eli, he was regarded as one of the greatest in the league. With Baker, he still caught 1,000 yards, which I was surprised to see. He got his 1,000, and if you're a good receiver on a trash team, you should be able to get your 1,000. That's my stance on it. Like, you should still be able to get to that marker, and he did it.
I get that, but he was also, he wasn't high. He wasn't the top wide receiver on his own team.
He wasn't, but he's also all right. Listen, like him and Jarvis are boys. He's not.
Yeah, I know.
So he's not going to come in if it was the Bengals or like some other team. Maybe not the Bengals is a bad example, but another team where there's an incumbent, he might fight a little bit more. But if it's like his friend, he's not going to like try to screw Jarvis Landry over. He's gonna, he's gonna look out for him when it makes sense. I bet he'd been a little bit more aggressive maybe if he wasn't like cool with the other guy he's competing for balls with. Because, that was part of one of the things that, hey, we can both win here. So I'm assuming he bought into that. But And Jarvis had the other year with Baker. Like he's had this time to build up more of a relationship. And before that, he was like one of the elite ones. If you're gonna tell me like, hey, I have him fourth because the only 3 guys better than him are the ones I haven't said yet. But if you put him in any system, he had a full off season to train for it. I think you'd see elite ODB.
Hey, look, you could very well be right. Just for me right now, kind of just thinking about it. He obviously, I think, in my mind, he's top 10. Look, Jarvis Landry's not on my list. So I obviously still, do believe he's better.
I didn't put Jarvis either. Yeah. When you said that, I was like, well, where's Jarvis then?
Yeah, no. So he's not on my list. I obviously think he is better than him. But but when you look at most recently, you could make the argument that he's not. So I guess I'm making that argument. He's my number 9. Who's your number 8?
I hate my number 8. It's Devontae
Okay.
Adams. I did it just because, like –
what? Wow. Why do you hate that?
He just doesn't, wow me. I'm gone.
What do you mean? What do you mean gone?
Jarvis Landry at number 8. There's more reasons to think why Jarvis – Devontae sucks, dude.
He does. You're so wrong. You're so wrong.
1 year. Where he gets 1,000 yards. And he's got Aaron Rodgers, dude. You got other players going out here with no quarterback help.
He's been hurt a lot, too.
An awful run game. They don't have one of the all-time greats at quarterback. And they're getting 1,000 year after year after year. What's his excuse?
I honestly think that he's and he's on my list and much higher. So you told me where Odell was your 4?
No, Jarvis, he's not even on my list anymore. I'm rescinding that. Jarvis Landry is 8th.
If you think Jarvis Landry is a better wide receiver than Devontae Adams, I mean, come on.
What would Jarvis Landry do if he was in Green Bay?
But he's not. And Devontae's had a lot of injuries, too. He wasn't very healthy. So
if you're going to – discussions because he's what ifs. What if he was, though? I'll bet you he'd be better. That's what I'm saying right now.
He had 997 yards, 3 yards short of 1,000, and he only played 12 games.
It's part of being good is being healthy.
I mean, there's going to be people on this list. Your number 10 is a guy who's not even in the NFL right now.
He's healthy. He's just not mentally healthy.
Is he healthy? Yeah, we don't know. But so Devontae's up there for me. I'll go. Yeah. I'll go. We'll save more Devontae than I guess for me. But my number 8, and as I look at it, I'm kind of like, man, he should probably be higher too. But then it's the same quandary where it's like, okay, but actually, is he the best wide receiver on his own team? My number 8 is Mike Evans.
Yeah. So I did the same thing. I have Mike on here, but I don't have Godwin on here.
Don't have Godwin on here.
And I don't know if it's
their stats are
fair to him. There's only 10.
And look, their stats are pretty similar actually. And Godwin did play one more game. I mean, I saw look, Colin Cowherd put Mike Evans as the best wide receiver in the NFL when he listed his top 10 NFL players. So obviously some people are super high on him. And I mean, look, we are too. We both have him in the top 10 in the league. I think he's super talented. I can't wait to see how he does with Tom Brady. Huge wide receiver. Top 15 last year, it looks like in receiving. So it's going to be good.
Number 7, Amari Cooper. Amari, he came in with all the promise at Alabama. Alabama's been great at putting out these wideouts, and he was like the next guy. And he shows some flashes early, but he got helped so much by going to Dallas. That's like, does your situation matter? Hell yeah, it does. Amari Cooper, I think 7's. That's about where he belongs. He's not.
Look, I
don't think he's as good as other people think he is. I do not think he's as good as other people think he is. I think there's a lot of guys out there that if you put him in that situation with that, all those factors, the coaching, the run game, blah, 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 they could do what he did, but he did it. So I'll give him the 7 spot just because I'm nice.
Hey, I have him as my 6. I thought last year he had some games where he completely outplayed everyone that was trying to cover him. Outplayed every wide receiver on the field. You're right. You got put into a much better situation, obviously, down there in Dallas. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does. He just got paid, so clearly they see a ton of stock in him. What did they give? They gave Oakland first-round pick, didn't they?
Yeah.
For him?
You got
a first and fourth,
So they got one for him, and they got one for Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Or
there
2.
you go.
I think they got one each year.
And then the Raiders go out and they took Henry Ruggs. They knew they needed another wide receiver, but yeah, all right. He's my number 6.
The other Bama receiver they had.
Yeah,
Trust me.
So look, all right. So he's my number 6. He's your number 7. My number 7, and might be breaking the rules here a little bit, but if you look at his numbers, you can't tell me he's not a top 10 wide receiver. Travis Kelce.
Yeah, you are breaking the rules. We're not talking tight ends.
He's a wide, but he's a receiver. So it's like for me,
put LeBron James in the list. He'd be a good receiver.
Yeah,
if he was a receiver, he'd probably be pretty good too.
We're talking about guys that put up the stats in receiving. He was the number 4 reception leader in the NFL last year. Number 4, so top 5. So, and whenever you watch a Chiefs game,
what a tight end he is. What a tight end.
Whenever you watch a Chiefs game, he's his like number 1 target every single time. The guy had 1,200 yards receiving. Look, as a tight end. Look, I know. All right, fine. I'm breaking the rules. I could probably put someone in there. Maybe I'll put Jarvis Landry in there for you to make you happy. Okay, and then I could probably put somewhat others in there too. But I don't care. He's my number 7th best receiver in the league because of the way he plays.
Don't put a tight end on a top 10 wideout list and not expect me to say something to that.
Don't put someone who's not even in the NFL on the top 10 list and not expect me to say something.
Agree to disagree. 6, Mike Evans. Does it every year. I don't know. I don't think he's the top guy in the league. I wouldn't even put him in the – I don't know if I even put him as elite. Like, I think overall the quality, the wide receiver play just in general, I don't know if it's like cyclical. Like, it is cyclical. Everything's cyclical.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's as many bona fide, elite, badass wide receivers as there were 5 years ago. Like the 2011 class with like Julio and AJ and like OBJ, like ODB, he was class of 2013, I think. Like a lot of these guys at the top that we haven't said yet, but whatever. A little bit older, and we kind of talked about this before. Like remember when we did like, hey, what's your top 5 in 5 years or whatever over the next course of the next 5 years? And we were just having a hard time with wide receivers. There aren't a lot of like really, really good young ones. I don't know what it is. Maybe they haven't blossomed. Maybe it's a number of factors. Mike Evans is my 6. I don't watch him and go like, oh my God, that was amazing. That's what you should do with the 6th best receiver in the league. You should be amazed. He doesn't amaze me, but he's 6th best.
So that's what you should do with the 6th best.
Well, there are 6. There are 6. That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
That's what the problem with today's day and age is.
I should say, it's a passing league now, so it's kind of hard to say. But that
should accentuate it. Before it was a running league.
But it has. But I think everyone's gotten so good. You could also say everyone's gotten so good that you can't differentiate it as much because there's so many of them.
Listen, man. If there's a Randy Moss right now, if there's a Terrell Owens, like if you have that level of talent, and Antonio Brown was that kind of guy, and Calvin Johnson was that kind of guy. Like we had some of these guys. They just get old. And, there's a few right now, like Andre Johnson. Like, there were so many that I just think we're, like, in kind of like a, it's a little thinner right now. And that's fine. Maybe next year it'll all change. These things happen. But I don't know. It's Mike Evans, 6th best, but I'm not wowed by him. The only guys who wowed me on my list are, like, my top 3 and 4.
3 or 4. Yeah. I mean, look, when you do look at it, like, you look at, like, the early 2000s and, like you look at like those Rams teams,
dude.
That would with Torrey Holt,
Isaac Bruce, Marvin
Harrison, Reggie Wayne. Yeah, you're right. Look, I like that.
It's part of it us getting older, and that's like our childhood, and you're just biased. I don't think so, though. I really don't think so. Are these guys Hall of Famers?
What we should do then? Looks like we need to put together an all-time wide receiver list since 2000 and see how it stacks up with the newer people.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so maybe that's coming to you. All right,
next week.
Yeah, so that was what was the number of that?
6. Mike Evans 6.
6. Your Mike Evans was 6. Okay, so I already told you my 6 was Amari Cooper. I already told you my 5 was Devontae Adams.
So I'll give you my 5.
Oh yeah, give me your 5.
AJ Green.
Yeah.
I think he is and I'm gonna get this out.
I have him higher.
Okay, you want me to wait?
I have him at 4, so go. So that's fine. We can talk about it now.
The only people who are going to agree with my viewpoint, I realize, are Bengals fans. But hopefully we have one or two of those listening. AJ Green and the story of AJ Green is one of the biggest slights or maybe like blind spots for NFL fandom. And I don't think it's always intentional. I think people you just forget, you forget AB's really good because he hasn't played in 1 year. AJ Green went for 1,000 yards. I think his first 5 in the league, first 5 years in the league, right out the gate.
Yep.
Second round quarterback, Andy Dalton in the AFC North, a competitive division. He comes in the league. He's immediately fighting like the Super Bowl champion Ravens, like these great Pittsburgh teams. Not easy sledding. He went for 5 years in a row of 1,000 yards. The only other receiver to ever do that first 5 years, Randy Moss. That's who AJ Green is. Now,
yeah.
He is playing in the AFC North. He has gotten banged up, and he did have Andy Dalton. All those things contributed to, but if you remember, in 2016, he was still talked about as one of the top 5 receivers in the league. He's no longer in that discussion. My what if, and I know it's not fair, but I'm just saying, what if he had gone to Atlanta? What if he was in the same position as Julio Jones? You can't talk the sense into me that he wouldn't be the same place that Julio Jones is. Julio Jones had more injuries playing inside, like in the NFC South, with a better offense and an MVP, literally an MVP quality quarterback.
A Hall of Fame quarterback.
Dude.
Or maybe a Hall of Fame quarterback.
AJ Green is 5th.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt, which he has 2 of the past 3 years, he doesn't go for his 1,000, whatever. If he's still healthy, what I'd say before, the measurement of a good receiver, if you're on a crap team and you still get 1,000 yards, then you're good. You should still be able to get 1,000. He does it. And I don't know. It just blows. It's frustrating to me.
Look,
I hate it. I hate that he's looked down upon. I have him as my 5th.
Look, I had him as my 4th because of pure talent, and also, yes, I love AJ Green, but I'm really trying not to be a homer there. I was gonna say to you, so yeah, his first 5 seasons over 1,000 yards. Season 6, when he would have been the only wide receiver to ever do it and pass Randy Moss,
yep.
He was 36 yards short, and he only played 10 games. And then the next season, he came back and had another 1,000-yard receiver.
Hold on. I want to go back to that. That year, what year was that?
2016. Yeah.
That year, he needed 34 yards. He was healthy.
34 yards.
He was healthy the last game of the season, and they wouldn't play him because the Bengals wanted to preserve their talent for the future. Yep. What, the future of sucking for 2-3 more years and ending up with the number 1 overall pick? Oh, man, it burns me up.
Look, I love AJ. I think when he's on the field, and he's healthy, he's uncoverable. So strong, so fast. His hands are incredible. Runs fantastic routes.
He's had Andy so dirty by Cincinnati.
Dirty.
Just imagine if he'd gone to the. There's so many so many what ifs with him. He's better than he'll ever be looked back at as.
Yep.
Which is unfair. Probably a lot of guys like that though.
So he was my 4. Who's your 4?
ODB. We already talked about him.
Oh yeah, that's right. So. Okay. All right. Well, then go to your 3.
These are my elite. These are the elite receivers.
Yep. I think we're gonna have the same 3.
Bonafide, elite, best of the best. 5
We're gonna have the same. Look, we're gonna have the same 3. Maybe not the same order, but we're gonna have the same 3.
Julio Jones at 3.
These are my 3.
Physically, he's the best.
Yes.
He is. He's just a freak. But he's got those other factors. Yeah, he gets a little banged up. He gets some boo-boos. Can't play. All in all, though, nothing I can really say that's bad about Julio Jones.
No.
He comes out to play. He balls. Shows up in big games. He's really.
He has some games where it's I don't even know how.
Sometimes he disappears, but I don't think that's his fault. I think that's the offense.
Yeah, I agree. So he's both of our 3s. Who's your number 2?
Michael Thomas.
Okay, so we're gonna flip flop 1 and 2. So my number 2 is DeAndre Hopkins. My number 1 is Michael Thomas.
So here's the only reason I have him in reverse order. I can't tell you with certainty Michael Thomas would do what DeAndre Hopkins has done in similar circumstances. I can tell you with certainty that DeAndre Hopkins would do what Michael Thomas has done in the same circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good point. The only reason why I have Michael Thomas there is just his sure reliability every time they throw him the football. Which, you know what, DeAndre Hopkins also has that reliability. When I wrote these down, the first two names I wrote down is I went 1-2 Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, and it's more of like a 1A and a half.
Right. Yeah, that's what I felt. So the other reason I thought DeAndre was, I put him a little higher, is just like a little bit more explosive, like a little faster.
Yeah.
You're nitpicking. Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's 1A and 1B.
Yeah. They're both their stats speak for themselves. I think, and we've said this on this podcast, DeAndre Hopkins has caught touchdown passes from like 14 different quarterbacks or something absurd like that. Can't wait to see him in Arizona. I think they're going to be better than people think, seeing with Kyler Murray. So, yeah, well, there you go. There's our top
he's taking
10.
over as the number one. Day one.
He might. He'll be the number one wide receiver over Larry. Larry will be number two. I think Larry Fitzgerald's going to know that. You know what I mean? But Larry's one of the greatest of all time. So, but 100%. I mean, he could be the best wide receiver this year coming out.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, that's I guess that's pretty much all I have. Anything else that you wanted to?
That is all I have, brother. Our top 10 wide receivers going into the season this year to win a championship in our minds. So that was a lot of fun. I think we need to do all time so we can kind of compare these to the older people that we were talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them are making it. I'm serious when I say I think there's a shortage of elite receiver talent right now, and I guarantee it's going to change. And one of these classes dude. I was looking back at the 2011 draft class. If you drafted in the first 16 spots, you had a 75% chance of getting a Pro Bowler. Look at that class. Just go back and look at it. It's bananas.
Wow.
Yeah, and but what I was getting at is I think we'll have a class where you're gonna get 2 or 3 of these guys who are amazing, but it's just I don't know. Why aren't there any elite, best of the best, 5-star, blah 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 guys in our top 5 who are under 27?
I agree.
There should be. There aren't.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, that's all I got too, brother. A lot of fun.
Episode 13. I know we had talked about having some baseball today. We're gonna postpone that till Monday. We have 2 special guests coming for our baseball. We'll do a little bit of Reds. We'll do a little bit of MLB. Excited to get that out to you. But yeah, man, I think we're that's it. Episode 13.
Sounds good.
Books.
Sounds good, brother. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.